Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another Monday night live stream. How are you doing? How was your weekend? Hope you've all had a fantastic few days over the weekend there. Hope your Monday is going well so far. And I hope you all managed to get a little bit of hobby in, maybe a little bit of gaming in, maybe even a little bit of retail therapy. Or you would, at the very least, manage to just put your feet up and kick back and relax for a bit. So, folks, we've got quite a bit to chat about tonight. We're as you can see from the thumbnail, from the topic tonight, we're going to be having a chat about Dungeon Bowl. Dungeon Bowl. I keep saying Dungeon Bowl, but Dungeon Bowl. It goes up for pre-order this coming Saturday, so we'll be having a chat with that. Is it worth a punt? Was the title there in both sort of senses of the word? Punt being kind of kicking a football, but also is it worth it? Is it worth it? As a standalone game, is it worth it if you're not really into Blood Bowl? Is it worth it if you've already got a lot of stuff for Blood Bowl? So we'll be chatting about that tonight, and also a bit of a sneaky preview and a bit more background information now as well about a certain Marvel Zombicide game which we're coming from Simon soon. So yeah, we'll be chatting about that. Let's have a little look, see what we've got in the chat. So, Lord Maiden, hello Ian, how you doing, mate? He says, hello, is it me you're looking for? Nice to see you. Mark Wright, good evening to you, mate. He said, hope everyone had a good weekend. He went to his local hobby shop, played a few games of Dead Zone this weekend. Very nice, mate. How did you enjoy it? Marcus, Super Pumpkin Man, good afternoon to you. Tolmort, hello to you as well, mate. Hello for the rerun there. Ortega, hope you're well, mate. Forge Gaming Studios, I've just seen the trailer for Zombicide Marvel. It's pretty interesting. I'll be showing that tonight as well for those folks that have not seen it yet. Nigel Jones said he's got to go out, but he's going to catch the rerun. He says, in his absence, Dungeon Bowl looks interesting with mixed teams and teleporters, but the box set price is too high for him. We'll chat about the price as well. Blizzards, hello to you, mate. Just chowing down on some sushi, eyeing what the postman brought. Nice to see you in, sir. Hello, Christian. Nice to see you as well, mate. Moose Moosington, good morning to you, mate. Enjoy the drive to work. I hope you're well. Ed's in as well. Hello to you. Hello, Derek. Hope you're well, buddy. Hobby Lodge, nice to see you in as well, mate. Yoakum, good afternoon. Or good evening even to you. Spider Lord saying, I will not back Marvel Zombicide. I will not back Marvel Zombicide. I will back Marvel Zombicide, damn. Jason said he's hyped for both of these already. Excuse me. Bit of a dry throat there. It says, you say that Zombie Galactus. Yeah. We'll come on to that, mate. VJ, good morning to you as well, mate. Hope you're doing well. Hello, Dirk, as well. VJ says, you're sounding pretty chipper. Just in a good mood, mate, that's all. Just in a good mood. Tony Howell, hello to you, sir. Hope you're well. Spylaw says, I painted 4 zombies today. The irony. David Hargis, hello, mate. He says, this should be a great chat. I hope so, mate. I hope so. Welcome to the chat tonight. VJ, hello as well. He says, I listened to the On Tabletop interview over the weekend. Was very interesting. Certainly pretty eye-opening about a certain big company's policies towards independent producers. If you haven't seen the video I did on Friday, so I interviewed Warren Johnson. He was kind of, or still is, sort of, one of the two kind of main sort of drivers behind Beasts of War originally and On Tabletop now. As soon as you see, you might not know the kind of the name necessarily, but you'll certainly know him as soon as you see the face. You'll go, oh, Warren, now I know who you mean. And we had a great chat when we did the interview. We chatted probably for about, we must have been chatting for over 2 hours. I managed to kind of get the video to a reasonable about an hour and 10 minutes. So it's quite a long one, and I kind of hummed and hawed about, is it too long? Are people really going to watch it? I've been blown away. That video has kind of done about 4,500 views now, getting loads of good feedback. People seem to be really enjoying it. So, first of all, thank you to everybody that's watched it. Thank you to everybody that's commented on the video. If you haven't seen it, I urge you to go and see it. People seem to be enjoying it, so please go ahead and do it. And it's also given me a little bit of kind of faith to keep going ahead with these interviews and stuff. Some of the ones I've done have kind of done less than kind of I would have liked views-wise. And they do take a lot of effort and a lot of time to edit and kind of to film and record and sort of do all the sound and all that kind of stuff. So it's always a case of like risk and reward. Is it worth doing it? Does putting the effort in actually pay off kind of thing? But I think this one's kind of give me a little bit of a push to keep going ahead with these interviews. So yeah, we'll stick with that one. Nice one, mate. Henriksen as well, hello to you, mate. VG says, never played Zombicide, not really my jam, but a Marvel one might get me interested. I've never played a Zombicide, mate, which is part of the reason why this sort of like piqued my interest. Kenneth Paulson, good evening to you, sir. Henriksen, Zombicide, like any other Zombicide, simple game, but a bit boring. We'll come on to that, mate, we'll come on to that. Wayne Hayward, good evening to you, mate. Here's another good topic for tonight. Thank you very much, mate. Welcome to the chat. Peter Stockdale, hello to you, sir. Hobby Lodge says it's a great interview. Thank you very much, mate. I mean, my kind of style of interview, I guess, is just to try and sit back as much as I can. Sometimes I get caught up in the moment and I want to have a conversation and I want to have a chat and stuff. But I generally try to just sort of ask the question and then just kind of like sit back and let the person being interviewed do the talking kind of thing. And it was great to kind of sit with Warren and do that. Henriksen liked the video as well. Busey saying BlackJack Legacy versus Ant Deck tonight. I'm a Celebrity. I don't think I've ever seen an episode of I'm a Celebrity for about 3 or 4 years, mate. It's not my jam anyway. Tasty Brain Drain, good evening. Hope Lives, hello to you as well. VG says, as someone that's now spending a lot of time commuting, driving or train, again, the interviews are great to listen to on the go. A nice one, mate. Christian saying, Zombicide's a lot of fun, especially playing with the right people. I think there's an element of that, mate, as well. I think it's certainly... Games don't have to be hard to be fun. And I think we'll kind of touch on that when we start talking about it. But I think some people's complaints about Zombicide are that it's a bit easy kind of thing, or it's not... They want something more complex. Not every game has to be complex. Not every game has to be difficult. Sometimes it's just about having fun. So, Dirk saying, I wonder if Dungeon Bowl is more like Blitz Bowl or Blood Bowl. I think we'll kind of touch on that as well, mate. Spylots, I've always had a lot of fun with Zombicide. I have pretty much all of them. Yeah, like I say, I don't have any of them in every... I keep meaning to buy one, and then I keep thinking, well, there's so many of them. Which one do I get? I've heard good things about sort of Black Plague. I've heard good things about sort of the original one. Now the second edition's out. Do I get the second one? I like the Army of the Dead kind of movie. Do I get the Army of the Dead version and stuff? But when I saw there was going to be a Marvel one, it was like... Yeah, I think I might have just made my mind up now. And then when I found out more about it today, because it was officially announced today, I think it kind of sealed the deal, but we'll come on to that in a bit. Yeah, so how are we doing? We've got a nice little number in there. We may as well kick off what we're doing. Actually, we'll hang on to about 1:15, just to pad the night out a little bit. Let me have a chance to finish my cup of tea while it's still warm, because as soon as I start talking on that, it'll be freezing cold. Hello, the Smith clan there. Hello, Kath. How are you doing? Nice to see you in the chat tonight. So I managed to get my little hobby room upstairs at home. It's specifically my hobby room for me sitting doing my own hobby. I don't do any work in there. I don't kind of like anything I'm doing for the channel stuff stays in down here in work, and anything I'm doing for myself kind of stays upstairs. And it's a way for me to kind of distance myself, like when working is my hobby. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to distance and put a barrier down the middle. But what it's meant is I've been managing to kind of get to painting some more of my Marvel stuff, and I've just been sitting. I sat over the other couple of nights over the weekend, and I painted it all. I finished off Daredevil. I finished off... I'm trying to think back now what I do. Wolverine. I finished off Venom, and I'm 80% done on Ghost Rider now as well. So it's been quite nice, just sitting, sort of painting away, just chilling out, and because I've kind of got that delineation, if you like, it feels quite relaxing. I don't feel like I'm just kind of working all hours of the day and night, if you like. Kaylee, good evening to you. Hope you're doing well. Kat says, just realised how many faces I make when I'm painting. Working on our Marvel minis as well. ER910, good evening to you. VG says, if the new Dungeon Bowl is anything like the old one, it won't be even close to Blitz Bowl. And Dirk says, we'll stick to Blitz Bowl and love the quicker gameplay. So we might as well then kick on over. So this is where I've got to make sure I click all the right buttons in the right order. If you, again, once I start kind of chatting on this, my screen kind of goes, not blank, but it gets taken up with whatever you get to see on the screen. So I can see the chat down the side here to me. If you do want to see anything specific about it while we're going, I will kind of reference it and I'll have a look at it. But if you put at BlackJack Legacy, it highlights it. It's easier for me to see if it's a direct question to me or any direct information or anything like that. So if I press this one, that looks all good, and then we go to here. Amazing. It all works. Technology is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Kaylee just saying that I'm doing Amazing Spider-Man at the moment. Got to do explosion on the base and stumped in what direction to take it. Always tough. I'm doing the fire on Ghost Rider at the minute, and it's always hard to know kind of how not to overdo it. Ed said he's just started work on Storm today. Looking forward to getting the X-Men on the table. And Vijay saying the Blitzball gameplay is the fresh, fast style that I dig for sure. Yeah, definitely, mate. So let me just check on my notes. Old school notes tonight. Bits of paper. I normally type them up, but I kind of I wrote them down and then never got a chance to kind of like to type them up properly. So yeah, scribblings tonight. I'll have to try and make sure I can read it. So yeah, Dungeon Ball was announced. Oh, I forget when it was now. It was back when they had the Warhammer Open Day recently. And that was the first time we saw any information about it. But this weekend is the pre-orders for Dungeon Ball. We know the prices now. I always get to know the prices kind of like a week early. And Dungeon Ball is going to be £95 here in the UK. That's $160 in the US. It's $190 in Canada, Canadian dollars. It's 265 Australian dollars. And it's 125 euros. So probably a little bit more expensive, I think, than folks were anticipating. But prices have gone up, shipping's gone up, the cost of kind of production's gone up. It's probably not to be surprised about, really, in today's kind of climate, I suppose. And essentially, what you get inside the box is you get a hardback rule book. This is the Dungeon Ball rule book, and again, Dungeon Ball is essentially based upon Blood Bowl's rules with the rolling mechanics and the kind of and the movement, and you know, if a team is fast in Blood Bowl kind of thing, they're generally going to be fast in Dungeon Ball and stuff. But essentially, how it's designed, or what the kind of story behind it is if I can try and remember my background and my lore, there is basically there is the Imperial College of Magic. Or there is 8 Imperial Colleges of Magic, and underneath each of these Imperial Colleges, there are basically these dungeons and catacombs and kind of sort of the areas beneath. And each of these colleges basically have these kind of Dungeon Ball training areas, where they basically kind of like, that's where players kind of like sort of learn their trade, if you like, and kind of get ready to go to Blood Bowl, go to the big leagues, if you like, and of these 8 colleges of Magic, basically, they're all based on the 8 winds of Magic from the old Warhammer lore. And yeah, like I say, basically underneath them they have these Blood Bowl to play. The 8 colleges are called the Colleges of Life, Death, Light, Heavens, Metal, Beasts, Fire, and Shadows. And rather than kind of having teams based upon races, if you like humans, ogres, halflings, sort of Skaven, that type of thing, these colleges basically produce kind of mixed race teams, if you like, and that's what we get in this set. So you get the 2 teams, which we'll come on to. We'll show those in a second. You get the hardback rule book. You get all of the card kind of dungeon, which is essentially card tiles, a little bit like Curse City type thing, or a little bit like Warhammer Quest, where you can relay them out in different orientations. You get the Blood Bowl dice that you need. You also get the Blood Bowl sort of the throwing template and the scatter templates. Basically you still are trying to score a goal in this game. You're still trying to pass the ball around like Blood Bowl, except when you start the game, the ball is hidden inside a chest somewhere, so you have to try and find the ball before you can kind of head off and score, if you like. So you get the little kind of chests, the little plastic sort of miniatures chests as well. You get all the little bits of kind of like scatter stuff as well. So there's a decent amount inside this. I think sort of production wise, it's going to be a bit more to produce these kind of tiles than it would be necessary to produce a board, especially with current kind of, like I say, the current climate and stuff. So I think it's hard to justify prices anymore now when we look at how much things have gone up. It's hard to say, well, I think that's good value or that's not, because I think things just cost more. So yeah, you can always add on the kind of the GW tax of things being a bit more expensive and that type of thing, but I think it's generally a bit harder at the minute with things going up in price quite quickly. So, miniatures wise, what do you get inside? So this is the first one. This is the College of Fire team. And as you can see, there's a real kind of mixture here. We've got some kind of little sort of snotling type things there. We've got some dwarfs. and we've got a couple of the is it the Giants, I think, well, like ogre giant type things. So there's a real kind of, as I said before, a mix of races on this team, and again you get 9 minis in this team, and minis is one of the things that I'll kind of touch on in a little bit, because it's kind of hard to see who this is going to be aimed at when it comes to the contents a little bit. The other team you get is the College of Shadow team, and as you can see, this one is more Dark Elves and Skaven. This one basically has 7 miniatures in it, so slightly less miniatures, but these tend to be fast and sneaky type player. There's no new sculpts necessarily in this. These are existing kind of minis that will probably people may already have from the Blood Bowl days and stuff. Now, if I go back to this layout here as well, basically in the game there are kind of like there's traps, there's pitfalls, and it's kind of roughly the same principle as Blood Bowl, as I said before. You need to find the ball, again, as I said before, while it's hidden in the chest. Now, what I would say about this is, and kind of as the title says, is it worth a punt? £95. It's going to be discounted about 20% in most places. I'll kind of use UK prices because that's where I am. But £95, it's going to be discounted in most places down by about 20%. So we're probably looking at about £76. It's a self-contained game, so you can in the future kind of expand out from here and have more teams and kind of league player and all them kind of stuff, campaign type stuff. We can have all of that. I'm just seeing there's a bit of feedback there from the laptop. I wonder if that's picking up the microphone on the laptop. Let me just tell you what I'll do. I'll just sit back a little bit. It's because I've got the sound turned on the laptop for if I give me a second, let me just where's my mouse gone? Let me just mute that. That should and then if I go back to here, yeah, that seems to be all right in a minute. I think I've got the sound turned on for when we do the other bit, and I think I was getting a little bit of feedback there. Anyway, so yeah, where was I? Yeah, it's going to be about £76 by the time we get discount and stuff like that. However, most players who are really into Blood Bowl probably already have all of these minis, so they're not buying these minis necessarily to they're not buying this box, or I've always needed more Blood Bowl minis, for example. And at like £76 to £95, it's not a cheap way to pick up extra players, if you like, in that regard. There will be people who want to play the game, of course, and that's who it's aimed at, but then I guess those people probably feel that they're overpaying for something where they only need the contents, they only need the kind of the pitch, they only need the rules. The other side of it is then, if you try and sell you can always kind of, I guess, sell the miniatures, but then I guess you're selling them really cheap because nobody really needs them. And if you're somebody that only wants to buy the tiles and you're hoping people are going to split it down and sell them online, you might be struggling to kind of find them. So who it's aimed at with the contents, I'm not overly sure. I think as a standalone game for someone like me who isn't a huge fan of Blood Bowl, but enjoys Blitz Bowl, I think it's got more appeal to me personally than Blood Bowl has. I like the idea that it's less kind of, it's less regimented, I think, than a kind of like a Blood Bowl pitch where there's some very kind of sort of very obvious tactics, I think, when you're playing. And I think I treat this more like a board game, I think, than a kind of a very competitive miniatures game. So there is some appeal to it. And I must admit, because I quite enjoy Blitz Bowl, it does kind of tempt me, is maybe the wrong word, but it does kind of like make me think, well, it might be something different to play. It might be interesting. It might be something a bit different. But then I keep coming back to Blitz Bowl and thinking, that kind of scratches my itch for this kind of game. So, is it overpriced? As I said before, I think it's hard to tell when it comes to what's happening with money these days and cost of import and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not really sure whether it's overpriced. But I'm personally kind of trying to find who this is aimed at. and who's going to pick it up. I guess if you're a Blood Bowl player and you just want to play it, you'll probably pick it up regardless. I mean, at the end of the day, your money's your money and you spend it on what you want. But it's just kind of funny timing, I think. If this is meant to be like the kind of like that Christmas release, I would have expected something with a little bit more, sort of a bit more clout, I think, and a little bit more shout. So what about you? Is it something you're interested in? Is this a complete pass for you? You're not interested in it? I'm kind of flip-flopping on this one. I keep thinking it might be nice to have kind of like to pick up and play now and again, but it really will be kind of now and again. And I think that's the problem. So let's have a little look in the chat and see what you fine folks are thinking about it. I'll have a little chup here because it looks like it kicked out at some point on the chat there. Let's have a little look here. Yeah, Hope Lives says, I made some chests and portals. Have I got that on here? I have. Yeah, I made some chests and portals and gave Dungeon Bowl a go. It's fun, but no new minis. So is it worth a new box? That's exactly it. If they put some new sculpts in this to give kind of like Blood Bowl players some alternatives, I think it might have potentially kind of like it might have been worthwhile. It might have kind of sort of created its worth, if you like. But I'm not so sure now with it as it is. It's caught up here. That's all right. I'm all right then. Kelly's saying some leftover Curse City tiles. Yeah. Regis says tiles look a bit bland compared to Curse City. I think at the end of the day, it's a fine balance, isn't it, between kind of having very kind of like sort of bright artwork, really interesting stuff, and having something that fits a dungeon. I guess at the end of the day, it's probably hard to see on those. We haven't really seen any close-up of the tiles yet. So there might be some like nice little kind of touches to the artwork. It's hard to tell, really. So it's like saying, really looking forward to Dungeon Bowl. Started saving for it as soon as it was announced. Do you play Blood Bowl, mate? Is that what the attraction is for you? Vijay says he's waiting to see what the Blitz Bowl community does with the Dungeon Bowl rules. I'm sure they'll come up with some fun mashups of the two systems. The Spider Lord says chucking ball and players, if I recall correctly, into the teleporters is fun. Yeah, I forgot to mention about the teleporters as well, moving people around the board and stuff. Different Gear TV, Busey saying it has a Curse City feel about it. I guess that's just the kind of the dungeon tile feel, the Warhammer Quest type thing, I suppose. Spylord says those models are giving me PTSD. The Witch Elf's thumb is a separate piece. Never in the world, is that right, mate? And Vijay says couldn't hear anything. There was a tiny like little kind of movement, mate, on the audio. I don't know if it was if that was causing anything. It might have been nothing to worry about, mate. So yeah, I'll not worry about it a little for the rest of the chat. Vijay says we're well overdue our next Blitz Bowl game, mate. Will be great to get it in soon before summer goes ballistic with work. Yeah, we definitely have to line something up, mate. I promise we will. I know it's been my fault. We've pushed it back so many times. Trevor Chedwick, nice to see you, mate. He says, is there a reason a new player would start here over a starter set? I think we have to kind of distance the two things as two different products. I think if you want to get into Blood Bowl, you go and buy the Blood Bowl starter set, really. If you want to play Dungeon Bowl, then you buy this. But I don't think you buy Dungeon Bowl thinking, I'd quite like to play a Blood Bowl. This is a good way to start. Because one, it's different rules. I mean, I know it's essentially kind of based on the same engine, if you like, but it is different rules. You won't have a pitch. You won't have enough players. You'll still end up buying the Dungeon Bowl, the Blood Bowl box to get the pitch and to get the dugouts and to get the players and to get the rules. So I'm not really sure. That's the thing, really. Dirk saying Spylo says I'm pretty sure it was meant to be the Horus Heresy box for Christmas and this for next year, but plans change. Yeah, it might well have been that as well, mate, to be fair. Dirk saying I like the idea of Blitz Bowl. Oh, what was that? J. Crod, thank you very much, mate. He says, love your content. I'm in for Dungeon Bowl. What is it you like about it, mate? Convince me, because I must admit, I'm kind of on the fence. I feel like I kind of I like the idea of it. I've never played it before. I'm not a huge fan of Blood Bowl, but I feel like I like the idea of it, but I'm not convinced. Yeah, Dirk saying I like the idea of Blitz Bowl in a dungeon, but I think I'll pass on this one. Spiderlord saying it's more of a beer and pretzels game. I think that's kind of. I think it's the competitive nature of Blood Bowl that puts me off, and one of the reasons I prefer Blitz Bowl. So yeah, I wonder. Sunday Takes says I was recently at a Blood Bowl tournament with 16 people, and nearly all of them were keen for Dread Bowl for nostalgia or just to play something new in the same world. I think the other side of it is if you are already a Blood Bowl player, you've probably already bought everything you want, so you're probably not spending a huge amount of money on your hobby, I guess. And maybe that's the point. Maybe it's just kind of like, well, the cost's almost, I say, irrelevant in inverted commas here. Maybe the cost is irrelevant at that point, or the value is irrelevant. It's just nice to have something new to pick up. Christmas is coming, that kind of thing. So I wonder if there's an element of that. Major Tom, Ed saying, is it anything like the original? The tactics are even more regimented and solvable than mainstream Blood Bowl. See, I think for me, mate, I'm not that, like, I won't play these kind of stuff that often, and I don't take them that serious that I'm trying to kind of like solve the puzzle, if you like. I mean, I don't want it to become like there's only one way to play and then it just becomes boring kind of thing, but I'm just kind of looking for the fun in it, really. Blizzard saying easy pass for him. Tizzy Brindrin says honestly not interested in either Blitz Bowl or Blood Bowl, so I think I'll pass on this as well. Sunday Takes says I do play Blood Bowl and Blitz Bowl, love anything in that world. And Vijay saying that which elf is a killer is a build. I must admit I've never built one of those before. Dixon, you get 2 ready mixed teams and don't have to buy 2 or 4 teams to make one out of those boxes. It's a little plus. You do get the ready. I agree, you get the ready mixed teams, but if you already play Blood Bowl, is my point, and you already have lots of miniatures, then you already have those mixed teams. That's kind of what I was getting at. Jake Rod's more of a board game player. Yeah, and I think so, mate. I think I'm looking at it from a board game kind of sort of aspect as well. I'm looking at it from a point of view where I'm not looking at it as a competitive game. It's not something I would ever go to a tournament and play and that kind of stuff. But what's it like as a kind of just as a board game experience, really? Vijay says Dread Bowl, slip of the tongue. Did I say Dread Bowl? Did I? And James Hanna says good evening. Hello, James Hanna. How are you doing, mate? Hope you're well, buddy. So this weekend, what do you think of the pricing? I mean, like I say, it's really hard to put value on stuff at the minute about how much something should cost versus how much it actually costs, like in the real world kind of thing. And I think I'm fine now having to realign what I think is acceptable cost wise. But like, is the cost putting you off? If it was sort of 20 quid cheaper, would you change your opinion about it? RPD says, hey all, I'm more into co-op games. I must admit, when I play games with my wife, we tend to play a lot more co-op games, and it's not something I probably would play with my wife, to be fair. Sunday Sykes, I'll be using some of the extra minis from this box to make star players for Blood Bowl. I guess you could be doing that as well, yeah. James is saying 65 quid for Dungeon Bowl, it would be maybe. Yeah, like I say, obviously, like UK-wise, we tend to be very easily access 20% discount, so it brings it down to £76, and that's the kind of way I'm thinking about, like £76. What else could I buy for £76 that I would probably get more enjoyment from? The way I feel at the minute, I'd probably just go and spend. I go and spend it on more Marvel Crisis Protocol minis, but I'd buy that. I'd probably end up with about 6 minis for that price. So it's all kind of swings and roundabouts, isn't it? So that's it. I haven't bought anything for Blood Bowl in a while, so I do have some splurge money up my sleeve, and I think that's the crux of it. Like, there is some more Blood Bowl. I think there's a Blood Bowl pitch coming out this weekend as well. Let me just double check on my. I've got the prices on my phone, so let me have a quick look, and I'll. Where was it? My library. Here they are. So there's the Blood Bowl Goblin pitch in the dugouts. It's coming out this weekend, £28. There's the Goblin Team dice and the Goblin Team card pack. So if you're a Goblin player, you might want to spend some stuff on that. But then, yeah, Dungeon Bowl, £95. So, not so sure. Maybe I'm just getting GW withdrawal symptoms. Lord Maiden says, yeah, you showed us another pitch. Oh, sorry, in the prices. Yeah, that was it, mate. Yeah. And Tony says, Dungeon, all the cool new indie minis. No surprises from me for this one. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, mate. And Christian sharing the link for the Patreon there as well. Thank you very much, buddy. Yeah, you can join the Patreon, get access to the Patreon Discord from $2 a month. There's some extra pledge levels as well. But yeah, $2 gets you access to the Discord. So, yeah, I must admit, I'm torn on that one. Let's get over to the one that I'm less torn on, shall we say? And that one is. I'll press on that one first. We're gonna go to. Here we go. This is what I wanted first. So we're gonna start off, and we're gonna have a chat about Marvel Zombies, which is a CMON, or Cool Mini or Not, as they used to be known when I was a kid. CMON Games sort of new Marvel Zombicide game, and luckily we got a bit more information about 5 or 6 o'clock tonight. So I've been kind of like working all day, then had the Marvel announcement drop at 5 o'clock. So then sort of listened to that stream for another hour, and then took all that information and put it into the presentation for tonight. So yeah, I've been a busy bee today, but I'm quite excited about this one. So let's head over to here. Not that one. Or is it that one? Why is that? Hang on. Why is that not showing up now? Let me shut that one down. Why is that one not showing up? That's gone funny buggers. I'll tell you what, let me just go back here. That should be... let me go display settings. And let me just go... Yeah, it should be just duplicate these displays. I wonder why that's... I tested all of this before we started. So, like, if I go across to here, yeah, that's working now. That's better. Right, so we'll start with this video. It's only about a minute long, but this is the kind of teaser trailer that came out tonight. And this is kind of... It gives you a little bit of flavour about what Marvel Zombies is about. So... As you can see, we've got Spider-Man, we've got Black Panther, we've got Miss Marvel, we've got Doctor Strange there as well. Yeah, and then we've got the zombies. We've obviously got Zombie Deadpool here, Captain America, we've got Captain Marvel and the Hulk. And again, Marvel Zombies, a Zombicide game. That'll become a bit more apparent in a bit. Yeah, Mr. Tony Stark there as well. And, yeah. And then we've got, is it Galactica? I think it is. Here we can see some of the minis. The minis weren't shown off very particularly well in the actual stream itself. But what I will say is that this kind of large mini here, this big purple thing, this Galactica one, is available to purchase during this. So it's saying coming soon to Kickstarter. I watched the stream. I took loads of notes. So let's head over to that one, and I will show you exactly what we got to find out about. So if I get this one up, the joys of if you're GW, you've got somebody else in the background pressing all these buttons, and you don't have to try and remember them all. But you should be able to see that. That's exactly what I thought. So. Yes, so this is CMON's 50th game, believe it or not. Not all of them are still waiting to deliver. But yeah, it's CMON's 50th game. And the first game that they ever produced was Zombicide back in April 2012. So yeah, what's that? 9 years ago now, just over 9 years ago. This is the latest game. It's called Marvel Zombies. Marvel Zombies is the title. It's a title based upon the comic books. I mean, there's been quite a popular series of Marvel comic books called Marvel Zombies. You probably know the zombie stuff maybe a little bit more recently if you're not really into the comics from the recent Disney Plus What If series. There was an episode about the Marvel Zombies in there. And on the back of the success of all of that stuff, there's also an animated Marvel Zombies series coming to Disney Plus next year as well. So when it comes into the comic books, there's over 15 years of content really to use for this game, and quite a lot of stuff to pull on. It's a brand new game, and it uses the Zombicide kind of engine, if you like, is the kind of the core for the game. But it does have a bit of a twist on Zombicide. So for the first time, Zombicide, you normally play like a bunch of heroes, and you're kind of like fighting against the zombies, the wave of kind of the undead, trying to like protect the towns or whatever the storyline is. In this one, there's a bit of a twist. You play as the zombie heroes, the zombie superheroes, I should say, and you're basically trying to kind of satisfy your hunger by eating bystanders and other uninfected heroes, completing missions and sort of securing objectives. And you might be thinking, well, how on earth are zombies meant to be kind of doing all that stuff? Well, in Marvel zombies, in the Marvel universe, zombies are not like we kind of see in like The Walking Dead and that kind of like sort of like brainless kind of like shambling zombie, if you like. These zombies basically, when you become infected, you retain all of your kind of like your intelligence, your intellect. They retain all of their superhero powers. However, they basically have this thing, what's called the hunger, and it's just this basically like this like never-ending kind of like sort of thirst and hunger to feed on living beings, on living things, basically. And that's what happens to the kind of the Marvel superheroes. In the original storyline, the Avengers are basically there's an alien infection comes to kind of to the Earth. The Avengers are the first ones there. The Avengers end up becoming to be the first infected and turn into these zombies. And then basically as they start to kind of like feed on other humans and other beings, this infection basically kind of spreads. And that's where it starts. So it's not your usual kind of like superheroes against the zombies. Your superheroes are the zombies. So in Zombicide, obviously, like normally you have the zombies to fight against, and you have the hordes and the waves of zombies coming at you. In this game, you're still going to need something to kind of fight against. You are the zombies, so what are you going to fight against? You're going to fight against the humans. And of course, the humans will be the good guys who are trying to kind of to take down the zombies. And in this case, these are the SHIELD agents. And you will also be fighting against other uninfected superheroes working with SHIELD who are trying to kind of stop this happening. So as you can see here from left to right, we've got a SHIELD trooper. This is just like artwork. There's no miniatures released for these ones yet. We've got the SHIELD trooper, we've got the SHIELD guard in the middle, and we have the SHIELD specialist. Now in current Zombicide games, you have different kind of types of zombies. You have your standard zombie, which in this case is like the trooper on the left. You have your brutes, which are the big kind of like sort of like heavy ones, a bit harder to take down. That's your guard ones here with the heavy armor and the shield. And then you have the kind of like the fast ones, the runners, if you like. And here, this one is your SHIELD specialist. So this gives you a flavour about the kind of thing that you will be fighting against. Let's get my notes in the right place now so I know where I'm up to. Now, what you will also get in Zombicide, in normal Zombicide games, is you get something which is called abominations. And abominations are like the big kind of like powerful, almost like, I hasten to say boss fights, but like that kind of thing. That the things that give you a real kind of challenge, the big zombies, if you like. And that's what you'll be fighting against in this game as well. But those abominations will be the uninfected superheroes. And so what happens is obviously they're going to create a bit more of a challenge, but in the same breath, you're no pushover yourself either. You are a superhero after all. Tony Stark is still Tony Stark. Just because he likes to feed on the flesh of the living, he's still as clever as he always was. He still has his Iron Man suit, so he's no pushover either. So they will pose more of a challenge. But you might think, well, in that case, how's like, you know, if the Hulk is fighting against a zombie Hulk is fighting against kind of Doctor Strange, for example, like how is that a fair fight type thing? What happens is basically they use things. So for example, Doctor Strange can become like a mobile spawning point, so he essentially kind of opens portals for more and more of the SHIELD agents to come through. So it kind of gives you an idea how they balance out some of the superheroes and some of the superheroes' powers. Now the miniatures do come with full scenic bases. We'll go back and I'll click on the images from the video. They didn't in stream that I watched. They were kind of holding some up to the camera, and they weren't They weren't particularly great pictures, to be fair. I'm just scrolling down to the chat here. They weren't great pictures, and you couldn't really see them, so I didn't kind of clip them out and show them here. So we'll go back to the video at the end if you want, and I'll show you some of them. But they do look really dynamic poses, and they come on some really nice kind of like sort of scenic sculpted bases as well. They did say the miniatures will come on 30mm bases, so they're going to be a little bit bigger than the standard Zombicide base sizes, but the actual scale of the miniatures will fit with the Zombicide previous games. Now, the inspiration for this and the artwork and the inspiration for the storyline basically comes from the original Marvel Zombies. There's been a few like kind of reboots and extra series, like sort of kind of extra productions. I think the latest one was only came out last year. I think it's called, off the top of my head, I think it's called Marvel Zombie. Is it called Resurrection, I think? And the storyline has changed over time, as it always does. But this game is basically, it uses the original one, the 15-year-old storyline. It uses that as its inspiration. But if you're familiar with that and you think, oh, well, you know, these characters weren't in it, or they were only in the later comics or something like that, if you're thinking those miniatures won't kind of come to the game, that's not necessarily the case. They've got the free reign to kind of use the entire kind of Marvel history, if you like, across that whole zombie sort of releases. So they're mixing and matching between the different storylines for inspiration, if you like, but the core kind of idea comes from that original one. Now what we also have here as well is, well, let's skip on a second. You can see here we've got the zombified Captain Marvel. We have Pepper Potts here as well, the partner of Tony Stark, for those not familiar, and we have the uninfected Spider-Man there, just giving you some idea. And they did show off the Spider-Man miniature, and he come on a base that looked very much like that, with the kind of broken rocks and the kind of like the street sign coming out of the ground and stuff. It looked awesome. Now, in the Marvel universe, there are some characters, people like Pepper Potts, people like J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man and Mary Jane. You know, people, who else can I think of? I don't know if I've written the notes down. You know, those kind of the human characters who are not heroes, but they're big parts of the story. They'll be in this game as well, and they'll be bystanders. They might be part of storylines, but you as a zombie will be quite happily going to feed on these bystanders. And interestingly, if you do kind of feed on some of the uninfected heroes, you will absorb some of their powers as well, which is quite a big part of the Marvel storylines. Where am I up to on here? Skipping around here on my notes now, I think. Yeah, basically the bystanders can be objectives. You basically hunt them down, and they'll give you some kind of upgrade as well based upon that particular bystander. Now, every zombie hero, every zombie kind of superhero, if you like, has their own attacks built in. So unlike some Zombicide games where basically you're picking up weapons and things, you have your own attacks. You know, like for example, as I said before, Iron Man's got an Iron Man suit, Captain America's got his shield, that kind of thing. So you'll have your kind of your weapons and your attacks, but you will level up as you kind of gain experience. You'll gain more abilities as you go, and instead of picking up weapons, you'll be picking up items, and these items are basically infected traits. So there are things which will basically give you extra abilities, make you a bit faster and stuff like that. Now, also interestingly, characters have this thing called hunger, and it's all to do with this zombie infection that's making them basically kind of like thirst for human flesh. And what happens is during the game is you're basically, you can feed on any humans and any kind of superheroes that you take down, but it's not the most optimal way to play, because while you're feeding on them, you're not doing something else. You're open to attack. If you're killing somebody and then feeding on them, you're opening yourself up to basically like the shield agents coming and taking you down. So you will kind of decide just to take some people down and leave them and move on and go after the objectives. But what happens is basically that hunger, that thirst, if you like, gets stronger and stronger. And the more you basically kind of become hungry, there's like a hunger meter. The more you become hungry, you can actually become stronger, until a point where you become ravenous. And then basically all kind of sort of skill and sort of tactics go out of the window, and all your character wants to do is basically kill and feed the closest thing, which makes you like kind of a little bit of a liability. So there's also this kind of hunger meter that you have to monitor. There's a little bit of risk reward there. Like, I can afford to get a bit more hungry because it's actually going to make me stronger, and then basically you got to try and kind of like sort of feed it back again, which I thought was quite interesting. Next up. So as I said, in the core set, the original kind of story is set on the original Marvel zombie comic books, and therefore it's very iconically set, like kind of in New York City. I'm sure further expansions will be set elsewhere, but the core set, the original core box, is set in New York City. And some of the settings that they showed off on the stream, on the right there you can see a kind of like a broken down Avengers Tower there, and on the left we can see the Wakanda Embassy. This just gave you a bit of an idea of what to expect. They said the artist actually who draws these basically like sort of draws them in 3 dimensions, and then basically kind of moves the virtual camera up and kind of moves it around inside the kind of like that kind of virtual world to get like the right angle for the tiles, which I thought was quite interesting. It doesn't really change anything, but it's one of those nice little interesting things to see. And then another couple of tiles that they showed off here as well. The one on the left is the is it the Sanctum Sanctorum? The Doctor Strange's building. You can just kind of see the skylight kind of like shining down in the middle of the ground there. And the one on the right is the Oscorp building, basically, the Green Goblin, Harry Osborn's building, Norman Osborn's building, I should say. So that gives you a bit of an idea about the different types of stuff that you will see in that. And then, lastly but not leastly, we have something which I don't think can be called a miniature when it's 2 foot tall, but this is Galactus, and I don't want to kind of delve deep into it, but basically this kind of there's quite an important plot point, quite an important part of the story, where basically Galactus sends the Silver Surfer as kind of like the herald to basically come to Earth, and some of the Avengers eat the Silver Surfer, which gives them the Silver Surfer's powers, and then Galactus, this basically the destroyer of worlds, comes to Earth and tries to unsurprisingly tries to destroy the Earth, and then obviously the Avengers end up attacking him. So this model is something that is purchasable as part of the campaign. It's available from day one. Obviously no prices are available at the moment, but it also has a gameplay perspective as well. And what they said was that basically it is a game component. There is a part where it basically kind of, in one scenario, it will move across the board, just destroying the tiles as if it's destroying the world around it, and you're basically trying to kind of push back at it. It also comes with an alternative head and an alternative right arm as well. This is this kind of like the zombified version, but there is a non-zombie version as well, which has like kind of the head, which is the normal version, and the right arm and hand that isn't kind of like all kind of like chewed up and zombified. And you can see in the bottom right corner there as well, basically the inspiration. That's the character from the Marvel Zombies comic books, and as you can see, the likeness is pretty damn spot on, really. So yeah, it comes. It's plastic. It's almost 18 inches wide. It's 2 foot high. It's not what you would call a miniature, but it is certainly something that would look awesome on a shelf. It'll look awesome on a tabletop, and it'd be quite nice to sit and paint one as well. But price wise, I can only guess at that. So if I go back here, for me personally, I've always wanted to get in and pick up a Zombicide game. Like I said before, I never really knew which one was the right one to pick. I've heard lots of good things about lots of different ones. I've heard that they're not difficult games, that they're co-op games, so it's great for kind of like me playing with my wife and the family. I almost bought in recently with the was it called? I forget what it was, but basically the Wild West one, the cowboy one. I almost bought in with that one and kind of changed my mind at the last minute. This, I think I said lots of times on this channel that basically I'm kind of off Kickstarter for a while. I'm not interested in that, with all of the different kind of the VAT kind of uncertainty and all this kind of things, and having to wait for stuff. But I think this might be one that I break my own rule with. I love Marvel stuff. I'm massively enjoying it at the minute, with a mixture of all the Disney Plus stuff, the new movies coming. I'm enjoying Marvel Crisis Protocol, and then obviously this is kind of This is going to just tip me over the edge, I think. I'm seeing a lot of kind of hate online for it, if I'm honest. I think some people just don't like CMON for whatever reason. I think some people don't like Marvel stuff. I think some people think that the Zombicide license has been milked to kind of the last inch of its life, which I wouldn't necessarily disagree with, but because I personally don't have one, that doesn't really bother me. It just kind of ticks a lot of boxes for what I like. And I think I'll probably be going in on this one. Timing wise, they're talking about maybe it's about a couple of months, going to be the start of next year, I think, when it goes live on Kickstarter. So we've got a little bit of time to wait. No doubt we'll hear more about it. But everything I've heard so far is ticked a lot of boxes for me. If nothing else, it'll be full of Marvel minis that I can paint until my heart's content. And by the time it ships, my little boy will be a bit older as well, and no doubt we'll be able to get some games together. They'll all come as single piece miniatures. I won't be worried about the kind of the way he handles them, unlike my Crisis Protocol stuff. I just think it kind of, like I say, it ticks a lot of boxes. So what about you? Is this something that's just not on your radar at all? Does the fact that you're playing as zombies kind of put you off? Are you aware of the Marvel zombies, or did you kind of just think that this was some kind of sort of weird cash-in? There was a few people commenting about that they didn't like the logo, thinking that CMON had created it. It's a Marvel logo. That's the one that they did. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, shall we say? We'll see what happens with it soon. So let's get back to the chat. Right, here we go. Right, here we were, yes. Lowman was saying, I tried Marvel Crisis Protocol and now I curse your name as I want the X-Men. Sorry, mate. James is saying, do we have a release date for it late in tonight? We're just talking about, release date is early next year. Release date is early next year for the Kickstarter. Lord knows when it'll actually ship. Ian said, I believe Dungeon Ball goes live for pre-order this weekend for either next weekend or the weekend after. Yes, that's right, mate. It's Dungeon Ball goes live to pre-order this coming. It might be this Friday actually. No, I think it's this Saturday. I only see a Friday because sometimes they do weird things when it's Black Friday. Spider-Lord saying he really enjoyed the comic books. Looking forward to this. Lord Baines, I think Captain America looks the best he's been in years. Technically, Captain America isn't Captain America in the Marvel zombie stuff. He is Colonel America, because in that alternative world, in the multiverse, in that timeline, he's kind of ranked up a little bit more. And at some point, I'm pretty sure he also was President of America as well in that timeline. So yeah, it's not. So technically, it's not Captain America, but not that it makes much difference. RPD says, hope it doesn't go to Kickstarter. It definitely is going to Kickstarter, mate. Yeah, it's going to Kickstarter next year. James is saying Galactus is a day one Kickstarter exclusive. It is, yeah. I mean, at least by being day one, it gives you a bit of time to decide whether it's something that you need or not. Lord only knows what it's going to cost. RPD says, hope it doesn't go to Kickstarter, as if you don't back it, you lose out on all the extra minis. I've lost out on tons of minis with other Zombicide games. Yeah, it's definitely going to Kickstarter. I mean, all CMON games go to Kickstarter. There'll be a lot of stuff in this. If you don't back it at Kickstarter, you probably won't be able to get it, but I guess that's just a personal choice thing. I mean, if you buy the core set, you'll still be able to play the game and stuff, but I mean, let's be honest, I'm going to have to make some kind of some calls on what I don't buy. I don't think I'm going to be able to afford to go all in on it, so I'm going to have to make some calls on it somewhere, I expect. Rennie M says, anyone know if Dungeon Ball will be in retail for months or while it lasts as its initial stock? To be honest, mate, I've got no idea these days. They normally have that pre-order guarantee type thing on a pre-order window. So if it's something that you want, I can't see this one selling out, mate, if I'm perfectly honest. But then it depends on how many they're making. Wyatt Wagner, hello, mate. It says, normally me and my brother take turns buying Zombicide games, but this one might be one we both get. Yeah. James is saying, basically, if you can afford it, the game gives you tons of minis to practice painting on. They've sculpted bases in Marvel Zombies. Yeah, these ones do have particular sculpted bases. So let me go back. And if I can go back, and we'll go back through some of these miniatures here. So if I go... this one, here we go. I'll go full screen on it. So I'll just skip forward a little bit. We'll play about a little bit. So here we can see Black Panther. We can see Spider-Man. These are the uninfected versions. When I say uninfected versions, there's nothing to say. And it hasn't been kind of confirmed yet whether you will get like sort of a Spider-Man infected version and a Spider-Man uninfected version. The way it looks in the core set is there is a set of heroes that are infected, who are the characters that you will play as, and we'll show them. They're the green ones at the back there. We can see Hulk in the background. And then the grey ones are obviously the ones that you are fighting against. What I would say is that actually it's quite nice that it means that when it comes to kind of like painting the bad guys and stuff, at least you've still got a bit of interest in them. They're not just like faceless kind of bad guys a little bit. So yeah, we can see those two there. We'll play a little bit more. I think we can just see, we could just very slightly in the corner there, if I can just scroll back a touch, we can just see Doctor Strange here. And I think, I can't even remember who that is now. They did mention it on the stream and I forget who it is. Somebody wiser than I will know in the chat. Here we can see Iron Man just in the bottom right hand corner here. We can see Hulk, and we can see Captain or Colonel America, depending upon who it is. And then in the background as well, we can see some of the other kind of bystanders and stuff as well. It looks like Shuri there. I think they talked about. I think this one here, just to the left of Hulk, is Sharon Carter. I think this is J. Jonah Jameson here, just off to the left. So there's a real kind of, you know, the kind of characters that we're talking about. I'll just keep pausing it here as it spins around. There's the Doctor Strange miniature. You can see that. But again, like the bases are really nice. They look really, really cool. You can see Miss Marvel here with her kind of like big fist and stuff. I think off the top of my head, is that Thor? I think Thor is in this as well. As one, he's in the core set as one of the superheroes not infected. So you can see there as well. So I think it looks like there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sort of infected heroes, 6 non-infected heroes. There'll be some bystanders as well, and that's I think what's going to come in the core set. And then obviously we can see the size difference. Also I assume you must get Silver Surfer with the Galactus miniature. He says. I assume it must come with that because there is a Silver Surfer miniature as well that we've seen already. So yeah, it's for me, I think it's already I guess price dependent, but like for take the price aside kind of thing. I think I've already convinced myself I'm gonna go in on this one. Rob says they've confirmed that this is going to Kickstarter. Yeah, they have, mate. Yeah. Craig says Marvel Crisis Protocol versus zombies. Yeah, I suppose it'll certainly give maybe some extra alternative sculpts to play with as well. St. Louis Keith says, I'm human, where do I sign up? Rob says, with the monster thing, I'm guessing it won't be cheap if you want that thing. I'm kind of, I'm guessing we're talking like, we must be talking a couple of £100. I mean, it's plastic at the end of the day, so I honestly don't know. They did a Cthulhu game recently, and they did a big Cthulhu miniature as well, like that. Like I don't know if it was exactly the same height as that, but it was a pretty sizable size. But I don't know how much it was, to be fair. Spiderlord says really liking the sound of this. James is saying they'll have an all-in pledge, guessing about $350. And Rob saying I plus VAT and delivery, so near 500. I know. I mean, I must admit, I think I'm with this one. I'm almost thinking it's something I will play. Like I say, I'll play this like with friends. I'll play this with my son as he gets a bit older. I'll play this with my older sons. I'll play this with my wife, especially if it's co-op. And then I'll want to paint it because I'm enjoying painting this kind of stuff. So I think I could be tempted to kind of save up for this one, to be fair. Mark's saying that exclusive minis will be difficult to pass up, and I think that's the thing with this one as well. It's pretty much it's one of those things where, like with the Zombicide game generally, I don't have like any kind of like emotional ties to some of the characters. So I've never like I've looked at the Kickstarters and thought, well, actually I probably could just buy the core set. I'm not that bothered about missing out on some of the kind of Kickstarter exclusive stuff. With this being kind of Marvel characters, I might feel a bit different about it. Michael says this looks pretty awful. Not for everybody, mate. I'm a big fan of it. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I completely understand it's not for everybody. Kaylee says 15-year-old storyline. Frack, what happened to my life? Nick saying Zombie Cap has Bucky's arm on his base. He does, yeah. He said there's some kind of like nice little kind of Easter egg stuff like that. Lord Maiden says the Green Goblin took a hell of a hit. Yeah. James says it's a beer and pretzel game with reasonable sculpts. All really depends if you enjoy the Zombicide games and the Marvel subject matter, but your mileage may vary. They did say they've pushed the boat out a bit with the sculpts on this, and that they think, or they say that these sculpts are better than kind of Zombicide sculpt. Time will tell. This is just what they said on the stream, but I think they were kind of intimating that they've raised the bar a little bit on this one as well. Lord Maiden says, you are very softly playing yourself back. Yeah, I think it must have just been, like I say, when I had the microphone on, it must have been picking up the microphone through my laptop. So yeah, I apologise if it was causing any issues. Vijay says, those boards, how do they compare to Marvel Crisis Protocol game size? The boards. These will just be like these are little tiles made basically, a little bit like Curse City type thing. They're little tiles that you put together. They're not going to be like a 3x3 board, for example. Wyatt saying Zombicide is the one game that my wife will always play with me. And I think some people who get really wrapped up in board games and stuff like that kind of forget the fact that there's plenty of people out there who kind of like just, who just play casually. They're not like massive competitive gamers. They like to just play a casual game. And this kind of stuff kind of ticks them boxes. Colton saying Zombicide is loads of fun. This looks interesting, but I've already backed the Western one, and second edition came in last year, so I may be passing. I get that, mind, if people have already if already into sort of Zombicide games or have already backed stuff. People will have backed stuff that hasn't even shipped yet, and I do get that as well. Like RPD said, I think it's definitely going to be pounds. Yeah, it definitely is, mate. St. Louis Key says pass until it comes to retail, unless the Kickstarter exclusives are compelling. Yeah, I think I would agree if it's not something that's compelling, but I think for me, they might be this time. Wyatt says they did tease that you can play the live heroes as well. I don't think they did, mate. I've heard a few people say that, but when I listened to it, I don't think they said you could play as the live heroes. I think what they said is that there was live heroes in the game. Now, unless they're putting a competitive version, like sort of player versus player system in as well, where you could do that, I can see that happening. But I think for the standard game, I don't think you could. Nick said, I believe it was teased at the end. Maybe I missed it, mate. Yeah, Kaylee saying it's Colonel America, yeah. Christian says, I'm in on this Zombicide, though I'll probably skip the Galactus unless it's a good price. Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. I must admit, it looks cool, and I would love to have it and it kind of go on a shelf kind of thing when it's not being played. But if it's stupid money, yeah. Tissy Brinton says, so it's Colonel President America. That's right. David says, the IP and minis look fantastic. I'm put off by playing a Zombicide murdering and eating people. Was hoping to play it as a hero and try to stop superhero zombies. Will still be great to collect. Personally, for me, it's a made-up world with made-up cartoon characters or comic book characters kind of attacking made-up comic book characters. So I think I can kind of get over that side of it, really. To be honest, the comic book is quite interesting because, as I said before, basically the zombies in this world are basically kind of, they're the normal kind of versions, but with this kind of like hunger to eat kind of flesh, if you like. And there's, I don't want to spoil stuff, but there's some good storylines in it where essentially kind of there's the morality, like as Spider-Man goes through it, this kind of like moral conundrum of like eating humans without spoiling storylines, and kind of how he feels about it, but knowing that he can't stop. I think it's a bit deeper than you would first imagine. So it says, I do love Marvel Zombies, but I'm not keen on Zombicide, and I already don't get enough time to play the board game. Yeah, I completely get that one as well, mate. Yeah. Dirk says infected versions are an easy stretch goal. I think it bumps up the kind of model count, doesn't it? Which always gets people spending. Lawman says it looks cool, don't you? Wyatt Wagner says Scarlet Witch. That was it. It didn't look like it on my screen. Keely saying Scarlet Witch and Wasp in the back. I did see the Wasp model on the stream today as well. Which other ones did I see? We saw the Captain Marvel model. We saw there was a few others as well. I'm trying to remember back now. Keely says it's Pepper carrying an armor case. There was that one as well. I saw that one. Crispin says 150 quid for Galactus is my guess on Kickstarter. I'm not sure I'd be put off at 150 quid. I think it's a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but then I think of some of the other stuff I've spent money on plastic and how much it's cost. Christian sharing the link there for BlackJack Legacy merch. Bit like that hoodie that I'm wearing tonight. This one is a zip-up version. They do it over the head version as well. Mark saying each iteration the sculpts get better. These will be very nice and detailed. Yeah, Lord Mince, it wasn't. Thank God it wasn't Cthulhu trying to speak to me. Mark says, yeah, I'll be honest, as I love Zombicide games, but price will determine the pledge. 100% mate. Zombicide tiled to 9 inches square, says ER910, yeah. And Wyatt saying the live hero version might be an expansion pack, maybe not in the base game. Yeah, I remember buying the Batman Gotham City Chronicles game, and the versus mode came as an expansion, which I picked up, so you could play as the bad guys as well in a player versus player expansion. So I imagine it might be something like that, as kind of like something that releases as an add-on. That's the kind of things where I might potentially kind of like sort of try and cut back on and not worry too much about like sort of those kind of expansions. But who am I kidding? I love the Marvel stuff. Like I said, the Marvel Crisis Protocols got me really kind of back into the Marvel stuff again. I've been looking at Marvel Unlimited from the comic books to kind of to get a subscription for that and go back and read some of the older stuff that I never got round to reading. So yeah, I'm kind of in a bit of a Marvel kick at the minute. So I know a lot of people are saying like kind of like, you know, like superheroes is like it's been so done, it's overdone now, we're sick of hearing about it. And I do get that if you're not really into it. I do get that there's like, you know, every month there's a Marvel superhero film comes out, or there's a new thing comes to Disney Plus or something. But I'm still excited about it. I've gone back and started watching the Daredevil series. I'm looking forward to Hawkeye next month. Like, I'm looking forward to Spider-Man film at Christmas. I just, like, I personally, I'm still hyped for it. And the Marvel license is still a draw for me, personally. The Zombicide games have always interested me, but never quite got me kind of over that hurdle to drop sort of big amounts of money on the game. Like, even the core games are maybe like 70 or 80 quid at retail, which is quite a decent chunk for a board game. This I think this kind of marries a couple of things that makes it work for me. Peter says, just back from work, how's everyone? I'm very well, thanks very much. And Dirk saying hello too. So my cup of tea is now freezing cold, I think. Let me just, yeah, pretty garbage now. Oh, that's awful. Luckily I've got some water here, so we'll do with that one. Lord Mains is good for you. Have you played Marvel Avengers? Marvel Avengers. Is that the card game, mate? Is that what you're talking about? It's not called Avengers, is it? It's called. Or are you talking about the video game Marvel Avengers? I'm not sure. I'm tempted by the video game, even though I've heard it's not great. Kaylee says, Spider-Man, His Amazing Friends got me in when I was 7 or 8. Never going to get my fill of new superhero content. Yeah, I must admit, I was always a Batman reader. I always bought Batman comic books. Was always really interested in the DC stuff. So Marvel stuff wasn't something I was massively into as a kid. But I certainly kind of started to get into it later. And so there's a whole catalogue for me to kind of go back and dive into now, I think. Card Games Champions, that's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, Marvel Avengers is the video game. That's what I was just thinking about. I've not played it, mate. But in all fairness, I don't play a lot of video games at the moment. I tell you what I have been playing. I've been playing Cuphead with my little boy. He absolutely loves it, and he's actually pretty good at it. So we've been playing Cuphead together, and we've been playing a little bit of Ratchet and Clank together as well. Just kind of playing stuff. I'm playing video games with him, so stuff he can play, I'm kind of playing alongside him, like sort of we're taking turns or playing two-player stuff. So yeah, we're quite enjoying that. We might probably go back and play like kind of like the Lego, Marvel Lego stuff. Might play that game with him. But yeah, I've not really bought into that one. Yeah, VJ saying card games, excellent. I'm not massively into card games, mate. I think that's why I've never kind of taken the push. Babalush says, nothing beats a good old ice cold tea chug while thinking maybe it's still a bit warm. Yeah, I'm not into iced tea either, mate, to be fair. And this is like kind of sort of like herbal tea stuff. So I've left the tea bag in. So now what's happened is there's a tiny little bit of water in the bottom and all the flavours kind of soaked in. So it's really strong now. It ain't so nice. Now it's kind of like ginger and something else as well. So it's a bit strong now. Keely saying, and on that Firestar and Iceman twin pack for Marvel, it's totally on my wish list. Firestar and Iceman. I don't think I've seen that one, Kaylee. No, maybe I haven't. My wife's just been asking me if there's any ones I want for Christmas, so I've just been putting my list together, to be fair. Vijay says he bought it for his mate for his birthday gift. Henrik saying comics aren't that big in the Netherlands. I wouldn't say they're kind of like massive in the UK, really. You get comic book shops, but like I don't know anybody that reads them, really. Like I'm sure, yes, they're big, as in like, you know, you have comic conventions and all that kind of stuff, but unless you're in and around that kind of like sort of that fandom, if you like, if you're not like if you're not into it with other people, I guess you'd almost think it was a bit of a solo pursuit. But I think that the fact that there's like sort of like Marvel Unlimited, where you can just get the digital versions to your tablet, your iPad, or your phone, or whatever, that could be kind of what gets me reading all the back issues. I always find that it's an expensive hobby to kind of start, and then you don't want to throw anything away. You've got to store stuff, and then storing comic books becomes its own kind of hobby. Where the digital versions, I think that might work quite well for me. Lawman says it's good if you like simple video games and you like the Avengers. I wouldn't mind giving it a try, but it ain't cheap just to kind of pick up on a whim. That's the thing. Blizzard says not really ticking his boxes. Completely understand, mate. Peter says I'm still enjoying Marvel Legendary game. I played the Marvel Legendary game, but the one I had was the MCU. I think it was the Phase 1, the first phase. But I do know there's the comic book version of it as well. But this is too bad though, because I do like zombies. Yeah, I think it just completely depends, mate. Yeah. Lawman says, yeah, go for it. I bet he would like it. Yeah, I do have some credit in my PlayStation Store account, so who knows? I might buy it as a treat. And Lawman's like, I can send it to you if you like, let you borrow. Oh, it's okay, buddy. I'd hate for something to happen to me, get lost in the post or something, or get damaged or whatever. But I do appreciate that. Alex Morgan, he says, if you have an Xbox, it's on Game Pass. I do have an Xbox, mate, actually. Maybe I get a month of Game Pass and give it a try and see what it's like. And see how it goes. So what's everybody else been up to this week then? What progress are you on? What's your work in progress? What are you painting? What have you been playing? What are you looking forward to? Did I just see somebody saying Hawkeye's on next week as well? Or did he say it starts Wednesday? Hawkeye starts Wednesday. I knew I'd just say that. I knew I'd read that. Awesome. I'm looking for something new to watch. We've just been watching American Horror Story at the moment, which I'm really enjoying. And like I say, I've gone back and I've put Daredevil series on, kind of background stuff while I'm sitting painting and stuff. So I'm enjoying going back and watching that. Is there anything else? I've been watching some of the is it called Marvel Legendary, I think, is it, which is basically like the making of stuff. That's been quite interesting to watch as well. Russell Higgins, hello mate. He says he's Wild West Exodus and Free Blades painting for a Christmas mini exchange. Very nice. Mark says sitting at my front door waiting for my Moonstone Kickstarter. That's coming quite quick, isn't it, as well? Yeah, like Moonstone, from what I kind of gather and what I've heard recently, Moonstone seems to have been the success of Salute. I hear a lot of people picking up Moonstone from Salute this year. So there always seems to be a game that kind of breaks out and everybody talks about and everybody seems to pick up. So either they had some great deals or it was just one of those games that caught everybody's attention. But yeah, Moonstone seems to be the game that I hear a lot about from Salute. Vijay says, just wrapping up the last 2 House Lancers for Battletech, realising that the decals I bought are too large for any of the surfaces. Dear mate. Blizzard said he got a bunch of Asterians in the post from Dead Zone. He splurged with his birthday money. Yeah, it's my birthday on Thursday this week. I do know I have Dormammu coming, because I actually bought it myself and then handed the gift over to somebody to give back to me on Thursday. So I've got that coming on Thursday, a bit more Marvel stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can't remember the last time I actually got any miniatures for a birthday or a Christmas gift. People generally tend not to buy them for me because they're always worried that they don't know what to get me. But this year, my wife's just said like which ones do you want? Just send me a list of all the ones that you want, and I'll just choose some off the list. Like I don't know which ones you've got and which ones you haven't. So just kind of like send me a list and I'll choose some. So I will get some surprises this Christmas, some Marvel ones I think. Kaylee said I got Doctor Strange and Bob painted up. Currently working on the big base Spidey. Nice one. Dirk says I had a cold, lay in bed for a whole lot this weekend. Still managed to play some minis when I started to feel better. I was away this weekend. I went away on Saturday with my 2 oldest lads for a night away and a few drinks because it was their birthday. They were 19 this week just gone. So that was a little birthday celebration with them too. It was quite nice. We had a drive out for the day, kind of went and watched the football in the afternoon, had a few beers, went for some food, and had a night out together. It was nice just to kind of hang out with the oldest lads. So as they get a bit older now, like obviously they're both at uni and stuff. I don't see them so much with them being busy with their own friends and stuff. So it was quite nice to kind of pin them down for the weekend and have some time with them. Tasty Brindren says, like you, Andy, I have yet to play any of the Zombicide games, but I definitely want and think this will be my entry. Yeah, I think it's going to be mine as well, mate, to be fair. Bliss says, it's his today. Happy birthday, mate. How are you doing? Happy birthday. Everybody else saying happy birthday. Bliss as well. Nice one. John saying, evening all. Just back from a nice game of Kings of War. The dice were with me this time. Nice work, mate. The dice were with you. Kaylee saying, I played 5 hours of Gloomhaven Digital over the weekend. It speeds things up, so not much worrying about setup and deck management. I've heard nothing but good things about the digital version of Gloomhaven. It might be... I've never played Gloomhaven because I think it's one of them games I think is a bit... Like, no matter how good it is, I think it's the setup time and the time that it takes to play the full campaign, I think it'd be too much for me and my wife. It's not really her kind of, like, length of game, if you like. But the digital version, I could see me kind of sort of playing away in the background on my own. Vijay says his birthday on Saturday. Amazon packages have been arriving at pace, so I'm expecting a good haul of board games. Nice one, mate, and happy early birthday. AR910 says he's played 40k against himself. We'll play some Warcry and 5 Parsecs this week. That's nice, mate. Getting some games in. Ian said, I know what you mean. It seems to be only me and my best friend that gift each other models. My family tried before, but that was my nan. Yeah, like I think generally with my family is I think they always worry that they're going to buy something I don't want, or they don't want to ask me what I want because then it spoils the surprise kind of thing. And they see me kind of like sort of with new stuff now and again and don't really know what I'm playing or what I want. So I think they just kind of avoid it and they buy other things. They buy me clothes, or they buy me a bottle of whiskey or that kind of stuff. I get other kind of gifts. So yeah, it was nice, my wife, to kind of like say, like, look, just if you give me a list to pick from, I'll buy you something, and then at least it'll be kind of like a surprise that way type thing. Christian sharing the link there as well for Goblin Gaming. Thank you very much, mate. Alex is saying Jaws of the Lion's an accessible version of Gloomhaven, playing it with friends on our games night. I've heard about that as well. I don't know a lot about the game and why it's different. I know it's a smaller version, if you like, but I don't know much. Like, how does it stack up against Gloomhaven, or like is it completely different? I don't really know anything about it. My phone is, sorry, out the corner of my eye, my phone is going nuts because anybody that plays Marvel Crisis Protocol will know that today the rules got updated, the new cards came out, and the pick and ban list and the affiliation list came out. So obviously the little Facebook groups, the little Facebook Messenger groups and the WhatsApp groups that I'm in are going nuts at the minute. So it just keeps flashing out the corner of my eye, just constantly going and going and going. So yeah, I apologise when I keep getting distracted. John says, my wife asked what I wanted mini-wise, so I've made a couple of suggestions. Nice one, mate. Joachim said he's painting some Dead Zone, just trying to get the starter set and some terrain finished as fast as possible. Looking forward to playing it. Yeah, there's nothing like playing it on a nice kind of painted set, isn't it, mate? There's something that just instantly feels like a better game when it's all painted. Lord Ben said I got moaned at for making a list and then got moaned at when I didn't make one. Yeah, we kind of... to try and like get control of it, because obviously there's a lot of people in our family and stuff, like sort of like sister-in-laws, brother-in-laws and kids and all that kind of stuff. So what we do between the adults is we do like a secret Santa, so everybody basically gets like one person to buy for. Everybody gets a gift. That way we're not ending up spending like a fortune, like trying to kind of like come up with stuff for everybody, but everybody gets a gift. But what used to happen was that everybody just used to like sort of like ask the person, well, what do you want? So if you go, oh well, I want a new remote kind of thing or something like that. So there you go. So what happened was on Christmas Day, you basically got a gift. You didn't know who it come from, but you knew what it was because you'd asked for it, kind of thing. So we kind of took the magic out of it a little bit. We're doing something different this year. Peter says, my wife just says buy X euros worth of minis. Yeah, that's the other way to do it as well. It's quite nice to have some surprises though, and have stuff to open on Christmas Day, and to kind of get into the, you know, into that kind of sort of the spirit of it as well. I mean, even no matter how old you get, it's still nice to open presents on Christmas Day. Same on your birthday as well, isn't it? John says, I got moaned at for checking the list twice. Have you been naughty or have you been nice, though? Kaylee says, Jaws of the Lion uses a scenario book that has the maps in it rather than using tiles. It drops a bunch of the finicky mechanics from the main game and cuts the character enemy types down, but mostly the same mechanically. So it literally is just like a lighter version. Okay, I'll have to do some digging at some point. I'm kind of looking to pick up some more board games. I think we've been playing quite a bit of Vagrant Song, which I'm really enjoying. I still need to do the review for that, if I'm perfectly honest. I've been getting sidetracked with all the interview stuff that I've been doing, and I've not put time aside to do the interview to do the review of it. But it's an awesome game. Let me just kind of say that. So yeah, all cool. Let me just get a quick drink. So yeah, this week I think I'm going to have a couple of days off this week, Thursday and Friday. You won't notice any difference, but yes, my birthday on Thursday. We're going to have a day out, going to go out for dinner and stuff, go for some drinks with my wife, and then Friday we're going to do a bit of Christmas shopping and stuff. So I'm taking a couple of days off. All it means is I've been working extra hard in the background to try and make sure I don't kind of miss any uploads or anything like that. So we'll still be streaming on Wednesday. We'll still have the paint and stream Wednesday night, the hobby hangout. So I'll see you all on Wednesday again. And there should be another video up either Thursday or Friday. Probably Friday it'll be up. But at this point in time, I haven't decided which one it's going to be yet. But yeah, there'll be another video up this week. Alex says you can get Jaws of the Lion for about £35 at the moment. Insane value. That's not too bad, mate, is it? That's kind of what I'm thinking, basically, coming up to Christmas. I think it's another reason I'm looking at things like Dungeon Ball. Like, we've obviously got like family coming up for Christmas and stuff. I'm just looking at some different bits and pieces, really, of things that might get played. We might be able to play together, stuff that might interest different people, thinking about who's coming and stuff. So yeah, like, I think ordinarily it probably wouldn't even kind of like even flash on my radar, really. But I think it's just when you're starting to think about sort of family time and stuff like that, you start to look at different games. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, for those, like I said before, those who are into Marvel Crisis Protocol, the new rules went live today. There's been a few changes, a little few tweaks. There's some more cards have gone into the ban list. There's some more cards have gone into the restricted list. Some of the affiliations have changed as well. So that, if you're a more serious player, if you're a casual player, don't sweat it. Not much is it's not a massive nothing massively to worry about. But if you're a more kind of serious kind of competitive player, there's a bit more to kind of to read up on now and just make sure that you're up to speed for it. John says happy birthday for Thursday, mate, and to Blizz as well. Thank you very much, mate. Yes, another trip round the sun, as they say. So how are we doing for time and stuff? Where are we at? 25 past 10. I think we'll give it another 5 minutes or so. We'll go on to we'll go on to 1:30 anyway. I think we seem to have done the main chat tonight anyway. So we'll go on for another 5 minutes or so. Kaylee says, adios, all you got, good riddance. Yeah, I refuse to use it anyway. I know exactly what you mean. It was one of those cards that basically, it was just like, yeah, whenever it was played, it was like a loophole. Basically, it was it ended up being used in a way that it was never designed to be used, and anybody that took it basically was kind of like, they knew that deep down as well. They were going for the win basically without the fun side of it. John says, we got my brother-in-law coming up. He saw my minis last time he came up, so I reckon I'll be giving him a demo game of something. Yeah, I've got a night out on Saturday night with my two brother-in-laws actually. And I was just talking to one of them last night by text, and saying I'm addicted to this Marvel stuff at the minute. We're gonna have to have a game. And he went, yeah, we'll have a night. You can teach us how to play, and we'll get a few beers in and stuff. So yeah, we'll have to sort that out soon, I think, as well. Christian sharing the shopping link there as well for Amazon. Don't forget, if you are doing any Black Friday shopping this week, please, if you click through my affiliate link, you don't get charged anymore. I just make a small commission for allegedly sending you to Amazon, but it definitely helps out the channel. This type of year, when people are kind of like shopping in the sales and things like that, or Christmas shopping, it really does kind of like sort of help sort of, like obviously like over the year my money goes up and down, you know, like it might go down at Christmas when people are kind of tightening their belts. It might go down in the summer when people are kind of like spending on holidays and stuff, and it might go up in the new year when people are maybe not going out quite so much and feeling a bit more generous and all that kind of stuff. So my money goes up and down through the year. these little kind of periods around Black Friday with kind of affiliate links and shopping and stuff just helps kind of like smooth out the overall kind of the overall income a little bit. So yeah, please do consider clicking the links. Kelly said it was no fun to have used against you. Didn't want to do that to other peeps. I 100% agree, Kelly. I think the people that are complaining about it going deep down know that they've basically just lost their crutch. Basically, that's all it was. I don't think they were really. I think they were. If they thought that they were, it was fair. I think they basically were looking in the wrong place. I think. Anyway, I think that's we might as well kind of call it there. I think, folks, feels like we've kind of come to a bit of a natural stop tonight. So thank you very much, everyone that's been in tonight. Let me know in the comments if anybody's watching this back in the rerun or anything like that. Drop down in the comments. Let me know what you think about the games we've talked about tonight. Let me know if you think I've missed any games that we should be talking about next week. If you've got any ideas for topics for Monday night live streams, I always kind of like I'm always kind of on the back foot trying to come up with new things to talk about. So if you've got any ideas, please chuck them in the comments section. It always helps me out as well. And I will see you on Wednesday for my pre-birthday hobby hangout. So take care, folks, and I'll see you then. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider checking out my Patreon, where you can pledge and support from as little as $2 a month. And there is lots of different tiers and bonuses which will give you access to a private Discord server. It will give you free t-shirts, free mugs, a podcast every month, and a number of other things, including getting your name at the end of every video, like these awesome folks who already support me now.